But let's take a look at what we've done. Last week, we joined the liquidity pool here. So I made a wallet, DeFi1.ftw. I can go to earn rewards, and we added liquidity to the pool. So
we started with 100 wax, then he sold half into Nefty, paired it, and then deposited the resulting LP tokens. Or I guess I don't think you need to deposit the tokens. You don't need to stake.
You create the liquidity and deposit all in the same transaction from here. So
okay. So
let's see
I guess
what this
you haven't touched it since last week. So this is 1 week of Nefty rewards on 100 wax.
Yeah, so I'm going to claim this one. And then let's unstake and take a look at what this is. To unstake and undo this position, just click the unstake button. It shows up my balance here. So I can say 100% and unstake the Nefty. There we go. And now if I come back over here, refresh on Alcor, we'll see, okay, I got 4 Nefty tokens deposited into my balance, which is worth 1.7 wax. And then if I come here and say minus liquidity now, you'll see the liquidity tokens have been returned to me. I can click minus here and then dial this switch all the way to the top, and there's my return. So I get 48 wax and 114 Nefty tokens. This would be worth, 48 times 2. So it's actually down a little from our 100 wax. And that tracks in line
you're
with
leaning towards the Nefty side of the pool.
Yeah, so you can see here over the week since we started last week, the price of Nefty is down about 5%. And so what happened is 50 wax against whatever amount of Nefty. The Nefty token fell 5%. So it was bought with the wax so that the value of both assets combined remained 1-to-1. So we sold some wax and bought more Nefty than we started. And that's why we're now seeing what would be, 48.1 times 2 instead of 50 times 2. So we can see here exactly what happened. We started with 49 wax and 110 Nefty. And now we have 48.1 wax and 114 Nefty. So let's just do some quick math here. 14. Like you can see, as it's trading, you can see more. This number will update every trade that happens. But we've got, let's see, 1.68 for 3.94 Nefty. So let's see if we actually earned yield from just the trading back and forth. So if I take a look at what that Nefty token is worth that we've earned from the 1.64, and we've lost 1.68. So we were actually down 0.04-ish wax for having participated in this pool. But as you can see, we also earned 4 Nefty tokens and we made 1.7. So this is actually a net gain of this amount minus the 0.04. So we would be right now, we've made over the last week, we made about 1.66 wax off of 100. So that's like 1.5% in 1 week. Just pretty fucking good. That's not bad. So what I was thinking is we could do this for another week and see where we're at, or we could take this time now to pull out of wax and maybe move into some other position. Like if we wanted to try short selling Ethereum, we could move to a different blockchain to do that, and we could walk through doing that, or we could switch the position to do US dollars and wax instead of Nefty and wax. Right now I might want to get a picture of how Nefty is doing in terms of wax, and we can do that here by just going to the Nefty wax market side. And then this is also using TradingView, so you can just click up here on indicators and then type BB and get the Bollinger Bands and add similar deals like what we were looking at the other day on the other market. So here we can also do OBV and take a look at if money is now moving into or leaving. And you can see, lately, quite a bit of a sell-off on OBV, even though the price isn't falling that aggressively. This is a bearish indicator. So if we wanted to protect our position in terms of wax, it might not be the worst idea to move out of the liquidity pool in the short term until this starts making higher highs again instead of lower lows and lower highs. And then once that happens, we can migrate back in. So I guess unless someone else has an opinion, I'm going to suggest let's pull some of this liquidity out. You can see here, let's see. Yeah, okay. It's quite a bit. So it looks like a lot of money went into the system while people were farming, and then like now people are starting to like pull out a little bit. It's still like we're looking in the 4 hours, so you know it's not like it's a little noisy when you zoom that far in. Here we go. On the 1 day though, we are seeing like an on balance volume drastically below.
Toon was asking, how do you see your liquidity on Alcor? I only see that on the Nefty rewards page.
Oh, on Alcor. So if you, the way I can see my liquidity here is if you go to the swap and then click minus liquidity, but you have to have unstaked the liquidity from here. So first thing we go unstake 100%, and then you can do this during. You see right now it's a 124. If you restake it before 2 p.m., you won't even miss any of your rewards. So if you're just trying to see what you have, you can easily do that. And then there's also, if you say, I think if you say minus liquidity, it might read out what your position is worth here. I'm not 100% sure now that I've withdrawn it. But for sure, if you come here to provide liquidity, withdraw the liquidity, and then come back over to Alcor, it will still be in liquidity token form over here. And that's what we're looking at. But yeah, let's pull it out and see what, let's pull this out, sell the Nefty side, and then see what we're at with, oh, right, of course, out of fucking CPU. So this is a nice way. I got to stake some CPU to my wallet that I haven't actually staked any from.
Nathan also asked, does this take into account the swaps or not? The thing that takes into account the swaps would be the fees, the earning fees that Max calculated. Those are what you earn from the swaps.
This is what we're seeing right here. This is where you can calculate your fees from swaps. It'll show you what you initially deposited and what you currently have. So we've earned 4.9 or so Nefty from swaps, but we've also lost 1.8 wax to compensate for those swaps on the wax side. So the difference between those two numbers is what we've earned in yield from the 0.3% liquidity sourcing fee, which you can see denominated here when you do a trade. So that's why it's kind of a difficult equation to do, but it gets way more tricky when you start withdrawing and then re-adding liquidity, because this number will start updating based on the lifetime of the wallet, not based on the last deposit and last withdrawal. So it does get really kind of convoluted trying to understand it just by looking at these numbers, especially once you've, started withdrawing and adding to them. But yeah, for now, I was going to add some, I got to stake a little bit more to this wallet. So I went over to blocks. I'm going to copy the name of my wallet, and then we click on wallet here. I'm going to log into, I'm going to say add account, launch Anchor, and I'm going to do this from first.ftw, which is my another hot wallet I have. I'm using that because I have wax on it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I didn't click it the first time. So first.ftw.
Nathan also asked, on the chart showing the money flowing in and out, does that show the people using the swaps? And that'd be yes if you look at the volume. The volume shows what money is moving through the swaps.
Yeah, the unbalanced volume is only tracking the here, if we go to markets and we look at unbalanced volume, it's only tracking this market and this pair. But if you want, here we go. So when we looked at that a second ago and we added the OBV metric here, This metric is only showing this order books. Like all of these transactions are plotted into this graph basically. So if you want to see value moving into or out of the swap side, you need to go to the swap under the swap tab, and then you can down here change over to liquidity, and then you can see this is liquidity in terms of Nefty. So Nefty tokens are currently being sold out of this pool, but now if I swap to Wax, I want to see Wax climbing. Yoink. Oh, okay, and Wax is also kind of, oh no, that's Nefty now. So that was Wax. Yeah, so you can see we're losing 6% of the Wax side of the pool was pulled from liquidity in the last 7 days. And 0.5, so both sides going down a little bit. So that means liquidity is leaving this market as well. So that means not only it's not that people are just using their Nefty to buy Wax, it's that people are doing that and some people are pulling liquidity because this is going down on both sides. So if we looked at, let's say, another like Neon token, for example, Neon token on the Wax side, you can see Wax is entering, and then you would probably see the opposite of that, exact opposite of that happening here. So that's why you can see one side is green and one side is red. This is, you know, normal function of a swap. And then if we see here on Nefty, the Wax leaving the pool a little bit in the last 7 days, and then also the Nefty leaving the pool a little bit means there's a bit of an exodus. But again, we're looking at, you know, 0.5% and like 6%. And then here, if we go to like a 30-day metric, that's not outside of the norm to see that type of a swing with volume moving out. And you can see here, Nefty token generally is moving in. And when we go back to the Wax, this is only showing the Wax side of the pool. So what we're seeing here is that there is 1,089,000 Wax, 89,586 Wax in this pool, paired against, you know, the equivalent in Nefty, which is 2.6 million. So, or not even 2.6, what is that? 26? No, yeah, 2.6 million. Yeah. So what that means is this pool is like 2 million Wax deep. Like there's still a shit ton of Wax in here. If we go to all time as well, this is very nice to see. Just the liquidity pouring into this pool. And you can see this is about where they started incentivizing that liquidity. It's really attracting some value into it. So over the last 7 days, yeah, we can see by looking at these charts that there is liquidity leaving the swap pool. But over the last 30 days and kind of, it looks pretty like, you know, steady climb. And then over the all-time chart, we can always see like this is still very much like it's kind of doing a what's that called? Like a flattening out, like tabling out. So that seems reasonable to me at 2 million Wax depth. Like that's, you know, I don't know that this should just keep aggressively climbing, you know. But yeah, it's nice to be able to see that anyway. So you can see it here, and then you can also go zoom in a little closer, and you can see here, and you know, in the last 24 hours, we're actually adding some liquidity on the Wax side, and losing some on the, adding some on the Nefty side as well. So liquidity is deepening in the last day, and becoming more shallow in the last 7 days, which you can even see here on the last wick of that. But yeah, that's how you check that one. And that to remote stake, I was going to add a stake from FTW to the wallet here. So I'm going to say paste to the wallet that I want to actually stake to. Oh, not transfer, but instead stake CPU. Receiver of stake is going to be DeFi.1, and then I can do like 25 Wax to CPU and say stake. There we go. And now when I come back over to this wallet, I should have the CPU stake to do what I wanted to do, which was remove the liquidity. So there we go. 48, getting 114. and success. And now I can come to swap. And 49. I think we might be right back around 100 after this. A little over, possibly. Yoink. Oh no, a little bit more slippage than expected. So 98, 97.99999 is what we're left with right now. So let's take this and either participate in like a US dollar like pool where we pair it with dollars and see how that does compared to the Nifty pool, or move it into like a money market protocol chain and short sell some Ethereum. I think. What do you think is a better move? Let's compare it to the USDT, for example, and just see how it would perform if we do USDT. And there's Wax USDC. Let's see what these pools are doing. So this pool, for example, not very deep. 800 Wax on the Wax side. And what's this guy? Only $39 worth of UST on the UST side. Let's see if we can find like USDC. Oh, here we go. Wax USDT. That's more like it. USDT. Okay, so I see. Okay, so what we were looking at this one is from a different wallet. You see how it has in the small text here, Biosdo or whatever. I'm not sure who's issuing this USDT token, but what I'm looking for is the ETH.token, which is the token issued by the Wax wallet bridge. So a second ago, we were looking at this USDT token. That's not the USDT token that I could bridge back over to Ethereum if I wanted to. This one is. So let's try participating in liquidity here. So we have 98. So let's do what would be like 45 would get me to 90. So 45, 46.5 should be about half of that. And that's about right. It was almost $8.50 or something when we bought the 100 Wax when we started this. So let's participate and let's take a look actually what the volume is in a pool like this and if it's going to be worth participating at all. Okay, quite a bit of volume here. So 4,000 Wax. Let's see. Let's turn this into dollars so you can get an easier understanding of how much dollars moving through this pool. $387, $400 here. So it's like, okay, there's a decent amount of money over the week that moved through this pool. And then let's take a look at the current price is one Wax is selling for 9 cents, basically 9.7 cents here. So if I'm doing 46 and a half Wax, I would get 4.48. This is not the only place I can buy USDT, so let's see if we can get a better deal. I'm going to go back to markets, and then on cross-chain here, we can see USDT and Wax. Let's see what the current going rate here is, 9.5 cents. That's a little bit more expensive than at the others at the swap, which was 9.4, I think. Or was that better? Let's see, 9.5. Get up there. There we go. Swap. Let's try this one more time and see what the swap says. 9.7. Yeah, so it is a better deal to straight up just go over to the market and buy it. But let's check another swap so we can.
Thank you for the raid, Dargu Gaming. We appreciate it. I'm also not paying attention to anything you're saying, Max. I'm super sidetracked. I don't know if this is on the rails or not. I will say we've been going for an hour and 30 minutes, so usually
we're just trying to source. Let's see, 46.5.
I don't want to tell people to not watch our stream, but Travis from fucking Bad Crypto just popped into burst chat. Like, I heard there's some people that don't like us here, and it's getting spicy, and I love it. I'm throwing fire. I'm putting gasoline right on that fire. So
that's hilarious. Wait, so what's the next move, Max? So you did the liquidity.
Yeah, let's supply liquidity to Wax Tether, and then keep us that way. If the Wax market continues to fall with the rest of the market for this week, we should be able to get more Wax than dollars on the side. And let's compare that to the 1 week of participating in the Nifty token.
Oh, I see. So you're testing different LP positions against each other in a 1 week time frame.
So the cheapest bet right now was to buy directly from here.
I like that you call it a bet. It's a bid. It's a bid.
Yeah.
You can bet with your bids.
Yeah. Let's see. Buy Wax.
Little crypto
50%.
casino over here.
Let's see. I want to sell some Wax. 50% here. Hey, come on! It should be.
I'm pretty amped about the new common blockchain brawler. I'm glad that played out. By the way, I'm sidetracking real quick, but I just saw someone post that in our Discord.
I called it pretty good. I thought they were going to introduce a new character, but they reintroduced Scotty as Bad Scotty instead of Good Scotty, and he costs like half the amount to craft now.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Anyway, back on track.
Bad Scotty. So in order to participate in this pool, I just sourced half of my Wax into this USDT. I'm going to go plus, and then I'm going to click the USDT side. It's going to add the Wax and the Nifty, or the Wax and the USDT into the pool, say provide liquidity. And because this position doesn't have a incentive pool that I need to then stake the liquidity to, that's the end of the process. Now in my wallet, I have here my positions.
You own 0.33% on $5 or $10.
Oh yeah. So now I'm gonna refresh really quick so that it actually updates my.
That's a really shallow pool.
Yeah, exactly. So I own 0.33% of this pool now, and you can see there's 44 Wax that we've started with, $4.3 dollars. So it's like $8-ish total. A small like negative on both sides right now because of like fees involved with entering and exiting pools. Sometimes this happens. It's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's just the like display of that. But either way, I'm going to see where this is next week. I also still have, I think, 8 Wax left, or 6.5 Wax left, which I'll sit on for this week, I think, and wait and see what happens with this liquidity pool. But let's see next week when we come back if we can get back to 100 or over 100 with this, and then adjust our position another time and see if we want to go back into the Nifty rewards pool, or if we want to then take the money and move it into some other blockchain to do something more aggressive potentially. It might be a nice little like step-by-step instructional thing to move Wax from Wax over to any other chain.